And it's something that is a hard lesson that those of us that are on a trajectory of living out our own personal dreams and goals and being who God created us to be, it can be very challenging to find out that those that are close to you are people that you couldn't trust. And it's also sometimes it's very difficult to pray. Like you said, you prayed and said, God, show me who's supposed to be around me. Take away who's not supposed to be around me. And then it ends up being people that you least expected to be taken away from you. And that's a very challenging experience to have to live through. And I can totally relate to that. I can 100% relate to that. I've had a lot of big things happen for me in my career. I've interviewed a lot of amazing people. And the folks that I thought would be excited for me found reasons to be upset at me while I was on my journey, and I just couldn't understand in that moment. But now that I've lived through those experiences, I want to give people some encouragement as well, just listening to your story. Having lived through that experience, I don't know if you can relate to this. In the moment, it felt painful. As you were saying, the tears, I can relate to that. But once I've lived through it and I'm here now, I totally understand and I appreciate that experience. I now understand. I used to say, God, why is this happening to me? But now I understand that it was something that was happening for me. So whenever I'm going through any type of challenges or difficulties, I try my hardest not to say, why is this happening to me? I sit back and even if it's something that has made me cry or just feel really overwhelmed and stressed, I sit and I say, God, why is this happening for me? Because I know that there's a purpose behind this challenge that I'm facing right now, and there's a reason it's happening for me. And I may not understand why it's happening for me right now, but when I pass this test and I live through it, I will understand later on, and I trust you enough to understand that I just have to remain faithful and steadfast. And it sounds like that's the same thing that you did and that you're still doing, and that's why you were able to get on interviews like this one today and talk about overcoming and being relatable and talk about your success, because you've been through those trials and errors. Even if they were silent, you went through them. And it doesn't matter if other people didn't see you pay the 30, 40, 50 or all the things you went through alone. God saw it, and that's why you're being blessed today. And so that's something else, another lesson that I learned from myself too, was just like, the person that needed to see what I went through and understand that I passed the test the way I was supposed to is God, and that's all that matters. And then something else you talked about, not letting your left hand know what your right hand is doing. And I was that type of person. So whenever I would get blessings and someone would say, hey, Kareem, we want you to come and do this. We want you to come cover this show. We want you to, we want your company to work with this client. I would then go to my team and say, hey, we got this amazing opportunity. And then I would lose it. And then that kept happening. And I just started praying and just really, I think another thing we have to do is pray and wait for the answer. I think a lot of times we pray, especially in the Black community, we've been taught to be very religious and just really trust in God, but I don't think that we really have learned how to build a real relationship with God. Like, we're used to praying, and we pray, and then we're like, okay, I did it. And we pray as like a thing or emotion. But I don't think a lot of times we understand that you have to pray and then be still. Because the only way you can hear what the answer is to be still. So a lot of times they're like, God didn't hear me. He didn't answer my prayers. It's like, did you even give him a chance to give you the answer? Or did you just go through the motion and pray and got up? So for me, I started really learning how to pray and meditate the right way. And that was me being patient and understanding enough with God to allow him to show me the answer. So when I kept losing all these big things that were happening for me, I realized that the reason that God stopped, it wasn't because he forgot about me, it wasn't that he didn't love me anymore. It's because he kept saying, I gave you so many things that you asked me for, and every time I gave them to you, you gave it away, so I thought you didn't want it. Thought you didn't want it. And when I stopped sharing my blessing with people and telling them, hey, let me tell you what happened for us, and just keeping it and understanding it was mine, then more just started coming to me. So I can relate to that as well, just giving stuff away to people and not realizing that that's what I was doing. So I appreciate you for sharing that and, letting people understand how you really are a relatable comedian.
Sure.
So thank you for that.